explaining the concept of interdependent word picture combination. So what this combination basically is where the words and pictures are just as important as each other. They work with each other to present an idea that neither could effectively present alone. And basically, it's a technique where the words and pictures cover each other's weaknesses. Now, it's important to note that while the words and pictures are just as important as each other, not every scene is equal. So, in some scenes, there might be more words, some scenes, there might be more pictures. To get a better understanding of this, let's take a few examples here. This is an example from Scott McCloud's Understanding Comic, and it's a very simple example that illustrates the concept very well. So here, the word says, after college, I pursued a career in high finance. Now, this is a very broad term, and the pictures define actually help to specify what is meant by high finance. So here, this is a scene of a robbery. This is an example from Miss Marvel. This scene takes place shortly after Kamala gets her powers, and here she says that as soon as she sees Zoe, she feels uncomfortable, like she has to be someone else, like she is pressured to be someone cool. And the pictures come into play here by delineating what she meant by someone cool. And this is her internal image of what someone cool looks like. So someone who looks like Captain Marvel, who looks like Zoe, who's white with blonde hair, with tight clothes, like General American. This is someone she is trying to strive to be as she tries to fit in this society, this American society. Here's an example from the monkey. No, here's an example from the American-born Chinese. Here, this scene shows Monkey King shortly after he got kicked out of the Tea Party, and it says that he was very angry, so embarrassed. In fact, that he almost left without saying a word, and he decided to say he's decided that perhaps saying one word could help him feel better. And the pictures come in play here by showing how it wasn't just one word that has gave the Monkey King some comfort. It was also him beating up the guard and telling him to die. Here's another simple example from American-born Chinese still. Here is the Monkey King trying to convince the Dragon King that he is not a monkey. This is shortly after he had proclaimed himself to be some sort of deity, some long title that he came up for himself. And the pictures coming here to show the contradiction in what the Monkey King is doing, because while he's saying that he's not a monkey, the pictures clearly shows that he is a monkey and he's just refusing to accept his identity. Another simple example here is Jin trying to. They were at a movie theater and he was trying to hug his date, and then he said that, "Oh, but first I had to take care of something." And the pictures come into play by showing exactly what he means. And here is him with a smelling armpit, and this is what he meant by having to be taken care of first. And here's a good example of the imbalance between words and pictures. This is an example from V for Vendetta, where there's a lot more words than pictures, but they are just as important in order to understand what is going on here. So here, Adam Susan, there's a monologue of Adam Susan talking about fascism and his love for fate. This is one of the things that the technique allows the author to do it gives you room to have monologues like this while also having a story going on in the background as a backdrop. So the pictures come into play here by showing his day as a fascist leader, as he talks about being a fascist leader, and him talking about loving fate, which the picture here shows that the fate is not actually a person, a real person. It's actually a computer, a robot. A similar case happens here in V's perspective. Now, judging by the words alone without the pictures, you would think that V is probably talking to somebody, talking to Madam Justice here. But the pictures clearly shows that he's talking to himself. He's talking to this statue which does not speak. And later here, V leaves a gift for Madam Justice, and the picture shows exactly what the gift is. It's actually an explosive. So hopefully, with these few examples, you now have a better understanding of the interdependent word picture combination. Thank you.